right, As It Should Be, Paul Bertolino here in the world famous As It Should Be studios.
Ooh, ciao.
Crystal Durant, sweating it out right here in the world famous As It Should Be studios.
We're sweating in the oldies right now.
Oh, that's for sure.
I'm a sweating oldie.
Sweating with the oldies.
That's right.
Tommy Von Voigt, sweating right along.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's no sweat. It's no sweat.
Actually, he's right, because here's a subject matter that we all have probably a good amount of passion for.
I think so.
And that is...
Pink Floyd album covers.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss we're going to rank all of the Pink Floyd album covers of just the studio albums.
So,
you know,
15.
No live albums, no
22.
no relics, or no collection of great dance songs or any of that kind of shit.
No, just 15. I got 15. That's what I count. 15.
Yeah, actually, Crystal contacted me yesterday and she's like, 15, right? I was like, yes.
Just double checking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
so
now, do we all have the same 15?
We have the same 15.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Why did everybody look at me when he said that?
Well,
I don't know.
who knows? I mean,
I don't know what's going to show up on your list.
You go first.
Oh, hey!
She's got Terrapin Station on there somehow.
Terrapin Station.
Terrapin Station.
Wow, Tommy, you just punched me right in the eye. Oh. Terrapin
Coming in number 15.
Station.
Number 15, Shakedown Street.
That's my number one, you bitch.
No spoilers.
Oh.
No spoilers.
Sorry. Okay, here we are.
Go ahead.
All right, coming in, and remember, this is the album cover, not the album. Coming in at number 15, 25. Coming in at number 15, I have the More soundtrack.
More sound, yep.
My question is, did it come with 2 tabs of acid?
No, just the one.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 14, A Saucer Full of Secrets. Did it come with 3 tabs of acid?
That came with about 8.
No, just 2 tabs and a number for a dealer.
Okay. So it's a collage. It's a series of pictures of the band themselves and upside down, backwards, whatever. It reminds me of MC Escher a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like it, the way it's the Nautilus kind of vibe happening. Yeah. I like that. So there's there's Doctor Strange from the Marvel Universe, taken from a comic book panel. There is a picture of a girl diving, creating a splash, but there are no ripples on the water surface. And there's an image of the planets Saturn and Mars in that collage. I like that. Coming in at number 13, I have Metal.
Yep.
Metal. DDs, not TAL.
Yeah, no, that's not that
That's
kind.
not that
It's
metal.
metal like this, like that's metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like when I start talking about how the 80s were, and then you come in and
And it correct you.
Aye, okay.
All right.
So, at least this record cover has some clarity a little bit.
Somewhat.
The way that the music... It does, to me. This is... The way it's showing to me the way that the music echoes. Because you've got the...
See what you did there?
See what I did there? So you got... so it's a close-up image of an ear, right? Underlaid with ripples underneath it. Like it's kind of underwater. So you're getting the ripple effect of the water and the ear sound vibration. Get it?
I think I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I get it, yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, I like it. It's more cohesive than the acid trips prior.
What has more of a concept that you can kind of latch onto.
It's straight across. It's straight up. Coming in at number 12, I have Piper at the Gates of Dawn. My first word is psychedelic, which is my all-time favorite word. So it's the classic prism lens that was overused back then. And, the fun fact is that George Harrison gave that lens to the photographer. And, it's kind of classic with that prismatic lens thing that was all over the place. Coming in at number 11, I have The Final Cut. Military Ribbons. A Requiem for the Post-War Dream. You know? Black background, very vacant and empty. I think it speaks to military and war and how horrible that can be, and solitary when you're a soldier out in the middle of nowhere trying to find somebody to kill and that kind of deal.
which he was very obsessed with at that time, Roger Waters.
Yes, completely. Coming in at number 10, I have The Endless River, which to me is very Magritte-ish. It's a painting done by an 18-year-old Egyptian kid named Ahmed Eldin, and Aubrey Power from Hypnosis discovered his work online and thought that it fit the theme very well. So it's somebody in a boat going across a river of clouds. I think it works. Painting is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good I think it's damn good for an 18-year-old, unless he started painting when he was 2. That's how I see it. Let's see. Yeah. All right, coming in at number 9. Number 9 is The Beatles with... No. It's The Wall, coming in at number 9. And so this is not just that cover. You know, you open it up and there's all these things in there. So the original release has in the inner sleeves and the gatefold has those horribly ugly and disturbing illustrations by the artist named Gerald Scarfe. And his work reminds me a little bit of Francis Bacon, if it's more like a cartoony Francis Bacon. If you're familiar with Francis Bacon, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. His artwork is integral to this thing because it represents stuff from the songs. So I wrote, those illustrations give life to the characters and the theme, like Mother, the horrible school guy, teacher. And the marching hammers, you know.
Well, that's.
I mean, come on. You know,
the judge that's a butthole.
The judge, yeah. When you see the animations, obviously it's going to become more clear. If you haven't seen it, watch. So I saw this tour at the lovely and talented Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah. Nassau. I didn't know Nassau Coliseum was that talented.
Yeah. Back then it was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was lovely and talented. Sound was really good. So it was February 1980. I remember this because it was my friend's birthday 2 days before. It was like the 28th or the 29th. And so the band was in the middle of the stage toward the front. As it went on, bricks were being put up all around, and then by the end you couldn't see the band anymore. And then at the same time they have these huge marionette puppets of those horrible illustrations bouncing around the stage, and there's shit flying overhead and all this crazy stuff is going on. And I think that's one of the very few times I wish I'd done drugs because I'm sure that it was elevated to the nth degree. I had one friend who was smoking weed. Was anybody on acid that night? I don't know.
Oh, lots of people were.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you just weren't there with them.
I mean, my immediate friends. It was about 5 of us who went. And it was spectacular. And for those who weren't around or didn't know, this was only performed at Nassau Coliseum and Los Angeles here in the States.
Oh.
I think it was just those 2 places. And then it was like 3 places in England. Because you can't really tour that like a regular tour,
right?
Because it's 18 trucks of just that shit on stage.
Yeah, but that's expensive.
Yeah, like it took at least a week for them to put up the apparatus to make that shit happen. And they did an amazing job of not seeing people doing it, kind of. Like they were wearing black, or sometimes they were in costume. And it was just... Yeah, it's one of the most amazing shows I've ever seen in my life. It was really...
Was that
really
filmed
incredible.
by any chance? Do you know?
Officially, no.
Oh, that's a shame.
But... And I've seen videos of the audio from the shows, but not actual video from the shows.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, this is 1980.
People couldn't fucking just bring their phones to the show?
No.
Yeah, sorry.
Lazy.
Didn't have that. And bringing in your big Sony camera on your shoulder.
I mean, you rotary dial and then...
Big no-no.
You know, but,
big no-no. Yeah, it was 1980. So, they're walled off. And then at the end, the whole thing came down and it was crazy. And it was 5 shows in a row that they did. and then that was it. Then it moved on to Los Angeles. And there was trouble in Paradise because of, guess who? Roger Waters.
Yeah, he's always the...
The band was not getting along at all. And, yeah, like they all had separate Winnebagos and all that. It was a lot of drama. Too much drama for your mama going on in the background there. But, yeah, but here's a fun fact. So they were kind of splitting up. Roger said he was going to leave after this was done. And then Richard Wright, he was ready to walk too. And he did that tour as a salaried musician.
Yeah, Roger
not as a member of the band, because Roger kicked him out.
Booted his ass.
And he was the only one who made money at the end of this tour.
Oh, because they had to pay him.
Because they had to pay him because he was a salaried musician.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
small revenge.
He said, I did not just want to walk out on this great thing I'd been working on, he recalled. I just decided I'd go out and play my best, possibly with the hope that, if it worked out, Waters' decision to heave me out could have been reverted. But it wasn't, so that was the end of that. Coming in at number 8, I have The Division Bell. So this is the cover that shows these two metal sculptures of assumingly men's heads that are facing each other. And if you back away from it, then it makes a big complete face, which is kind of cool. And those heads remind me of Picasso. Cubist. They're very cubist to me. And they are in a grassy field. The sky is blue and pink. And I think that the statues... It's about some kind of duality because there's only two of them, and human nature communicating with each other, turning out to make the big face, and when you back up off of it, and Oh, and this was the one that had the pulse light on it. If
the
you
what?
Remember, there was a pulse light on it. There was a little light that. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
On the album cover, it was like a little LED light. Beep, blip, blip. Blip, blip. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big thing around that time, because then the live album that came after that was called Pulse.
Pulse, yeah.
Yeah.
So you picked it up and this little light flashing and you're not sure what is going on here. So, that was the first pressing, powered by a battery. And, it was kind of odd, but then like what Paul just said. And what else did I say? Oh, so the division bell is a bell that is rung in the British Parliament to announce a vote, which I did not know until I looked that up. So, people communicating with each other, the government, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of crazy shit going on there, but I kind of like it. Number 7, I have A Momentary Lapse of Reason. Now, this is really cool because it's hundreds of beds placed on a beach. This is a real photograph. There's no CGI, there's no AI, there's no Photoshop. This was a real picture that was taken. They had to get all those fucking beds, put them out there, get the shot right, get the light right. It's fucking crazy. So, they're shoreline stretching that's on a beach. They're cliffs on one side, calm water on the other. It's pretty weird. And you're not quite sure what it has to do with a momentary lapse of reason, except I think that it's some sort of crazy dream.
And it's a Pink Floyd album cover.
It's a Pink Floyd album cover by Hypnosis. So you can interpret it any way you want to, I think. Let's see. Did I do that one already? Yeah, okay. Then I have Umaguma. Umaguma.
At number,
what do I have? 6, I think? Yeah, 6. MC Escher-ish, again for me. And Umaguma is the Cambridge slang for sex. So if you're from Cambridge, England, you know what that means. Yeah, it's weird. But, it's Pink Floyd. Then I have Adam Hart Mother.
at number 5.
Yes, heard it. So Adam Hart Mother is the one with the cow on the front, and her name is Lulu Bell III. That's it about that. Then I have Animals. And I think everybody kind of knows this story about the flying pig. Mm-hmm. There's a really great documentary on hypnosis the two guys, the one super nutty guy and the more stable guy who did all their album covers. And it's a very interesting story about how that all went down. It wound up in a farmer's field and it was bothering his cows. And so what's his face from Hypnosis is sitting there one day working and the phone rings. Hey, you looking for a pig? You gotta come get it. It's fucking with my cows. Because it flew away by accident. They had a sharpshooter.
Yeah. Yeah, just in case it flew away.
Just in case, yeah. But they didn't pay him the first day, so he didn't come back the second day. And that's why it just kept going. Then I have, coming in at number 2, there we go, I have Dark Side of the Moon.
Number 2.
Yeah. Number two. Which I think is one of the top 10 most iconic album covers ever. Period. You look at it, everybody knows it's Pink Floyd instantaneously. You got the black background with the prism, with the lights coming out, the rainbow. Not really sure what that means. I guess the black is kind of the unknown. The prism is adjusting your vision for something. When you're listening to this record and you're staring at that like we used to do back then, you're imagining all kinds of things. It's very simple. It's very direct. It's been redone a million ways. There's one graphic I saw of Judy Garland's head from what's that stupid movie with the Munchkins?
Wizard of Oz?
The Wizard of Oz, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the obvious
So it's a black
connection
and white of her, like, staring off into space. There's one still from the movie like this, with the prism coming out of her ear, light going in, the prism coming out of the other side of her head.
For all you stoners out there.
For all you stoners out there, yeah. I think also the dispersion of light is analogous to sound frequencies. And when you listen to this record with some really good headphones, wowza, you're going to get it.
You can thank Alan Parsons for that.
Oh, yes, exactly. And yeah, it's going to blow your mind. And my number 1 Pink Floyd album cover choice is Wish You Were Here. See, even though it's not music, they're still my 1 and 2. Yeah.
All right.
So when I first saw this, of course, everybody's like, oh my God, is that man really on fire? What is happening? Why is he on fire? What is going on?
And
I don't understand. And he was on fire. That was stuntman Ronnie Rondell, who was literally set on fire. And then it's like, they're two businessmen. They're standing at this like empty movie lot. He's on fire? What? Wish You Were Here?
It's deep, man. It's deep.
Yeah. And then the back cover and the inner sleeve has a faceless salesman, which ties into the sort of alienation kind of deal. And the inner sleeve has a diving man in a ripple-free water. See, that's the second time that's happened. Somebody diving in ripple-free water. And a veil-clad woman in a windswept desert, adding more layers of kooky symbolism that you don't know what it means. And
it's probably all about Syd Barrett.
Probably, yeah. And I think the handshake is important because they could have just been standing there looking at each other, or it could have just been one singular man on fire. But they're shaking hands while this guy is on fire. Did the one guy do something bad to him, like burned him in a way? I don't know. It's weird. And I've never done drugs. And scene.
All right.
That's my list.
I've been saying this a lot on these types of episodes. I don't know if there are any Pink Floyd commercials. Let's find out. Let's find out.
Pink Floyd segir að séu margar hindranir að vegi frelsisins.
Getum við farið núna?
ये पिंक फ्लॉयड वाकई शाकाहारी कला है।
क्या?
この人興奮したから安いウエスタンの服も置いちゃったんだ。
ピンク・フロイドってかっこいい。
Incredibile, che edificio!
È il maiale.
Incredibile, che maiale!
What's this?
Flogging a dead horse. Middle period.
But I guess, really, are there any that I can use? Because there'll be some that'll use music.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, and I'm going to have to avoid those. But So it's really, you got to kind of get crafty and find the ones that are on subject, but isn't just, a Floyd song playing in it,
Right.
Right.
He's crafting.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I know you were, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
we are indeed back.
You caught us.
And, all right, so my list. So, before I get on my list, I'd like to propose a drinking game. Every time you hear the name Storm Thorgerson, okay, all right. So number 15, bottom of the list, The Endless River. Now, see, Storm Thorgerson died in 2013, just a year before this album, so he didn't get a chance to do this. But yeah, his longtime collaborator Aubrey Powell stepped in and did this. But now I actually kind of like the idea. I just don't like the art itself. I don't like the style of the art. I think if it had been like a Storm Thorgerson photograph done in his style, that would have worked.
Yeah.
But I just don't like that painting.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like a children's book illustration kind of
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was 18.
I just don't. It's not very. I don't find it very Floydian. Anyway, so number 14, A Momentary Lapse of Reason. Now, see, Storm Thorgerson had been out for a couple albums because fucking Roger Waters, and so when they did this record, he brought him back. Now, the whole weird imagery of the infinite beds and the beach is distinctly classic Floyd imagery, but I hate the dated graphic design. That's what sends this cover all the way down to number 14. I can't stand the border, the text, or the ugly-ass PF logo. Had the cover been just the image with no border and no text, it would have made all the difference. Then it would have been a timeless Floyd album cover. You know what I mean? It would be like this. So there you go. Number 13, The Final Cut. At this point, Roger Waters has managed to completely disappear up his own arse, and not only has he taken over completely musically, but he's taken over the album covers too. I mean, like, he's the one who did this. Like, he's the one who cut Storm Thorgerson out because they'd had a falling out.
Had a row.
Before the wall. And anyway, so all right. So number 12, Ummagumma. The Droste Effect. Is that how you pronounce that? Droste?
Yeah.
Anyway, well, the original pressing of this album had the GG soundtrack down in it, but they, of course, the US, they had to airbrush that out because they're all afraid, copyright paranoia. But other than Piper, that's actually, I believe, that this is the only other cover that actually has the band on it.
Yeah.
On the front.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Just two of them.
Yeah. Number 11, The Division Bell. Now, at first glance, I think it's a pretty decent cover, but ultimately it comes off as Pink Floyd by committee. It looks like an imitation of a Pink Floyd album cover. Funny thing is that it's a legitimate Storm Thorgerson cover. I can't help but wonder if this is the opposite of what I was talking about when we did Prince, when I was talking about 1999. Maybe I'm judging this cover more harshly because I don't like the record.
Oh. Yeah.
It might be this era that I don't like, so I'm like, they didn't do that well. Because it's really not bad.
Well, I gotta tell you, I think that's what you're doing to Momentary Lapse of Reason.
I always felt the same way about Momentary Lapse of Reason. I mean, I think I just don't like the graphics. I like the image and I like the concept. I just don't like the way they presented it.
All right.
In fact, Momentary Lapse, if that had been done like this, that image with nothing else, fuck man, it would have been way higher on this list.
Okay.
Yeah. But number 10, The Wall. First Floyd album since Piper not to be designed by Storm Thorgerson. Apparently Waters and okay, blah blah blah, everything I just said about that. But The Wall, I mean, it's a really really simple concept. But I mean, what else is going to be the cover of that album? It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Especially the scrawly font.
Yeah, and the text that they thankfully did as a sticker.
Yeah.
Because I think the cover works better with no text.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I forgot that, because it's about Pink, this singer who's in pain, and I think that he's the one who wrote that because it looks like he's ready to die.
But yeah, so number 9, the soundtrack for More. And the image is a still from the film that they tampered with to make it look more psychedelic.
More acid.
Yeah, more acid, and and I'm a sucker for the '60s shit, so that's why that goes up higher than those others. But number 8, Adam Hart Mother. I guess they just wanted something really simple and plain for this, so Storm Thorgerson just drove out into the country, and the first cow he saw, he just went.
All
right, but the original design was simply the image without text, which I always like for a good Floyd cover. But even the first U.S. pressing managed to be issued without tampering. How did they manage that? But by the second pressing, they added text. Most of the copies you're going to see out in the wild are going to have text on it. But so if you see it without text, that's OG, man. All right, so number 7, merely at number 7, Wish You Were Here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, why the fuck did I do that? Okay, I'm already, I'm already wrong. Okay. Cover photo shot in Southern California at Burbank Studios, now Warner Brothers Studios. But yeah. Number 6, The Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, apparently Hypnosis presented the band with 7 different designs. And according to Roger Waters, the whole band went, that's the one. He actually said, we didn't even... there was no argument. We just all went, that's it. And yeah, of course, the prism. I don't know what the other designs were, but...
I don't remember, and they did not show them in the...
Yeah, but whatever they were, I mean, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, I mean... number 5, Obscured by Clouds. It's really simple psychedelic image that I just always liked. It's, it's the soundtrack from the French film La Vallée. And the images are still from the film of some guy on a tree about to pick fruit, and I guess the slide got jammed in a projector, and that's why it's all blurry. Number 4, Metal, the underwater ear catching sound waves, blah blah blah. Apparently, the original suggested idea was a baboon's anus. Close up of a baboon's anus. Not surprisingly, the band balked. And actually, nobody really in the band... Well, I don't know about the band, but Storm Thorgerson and all the Hypnosis people all seem to hate that cover. I like it. I think one of the reasons why I like it is because I like the blue. I like that shade of blue.
Okay.
I like the sort of weird psychedelic presentation of it with that color.
Yeah.
I just find it...
It works.
Visually pleasing, Number 3, Animals. Yeah, the original idea that had been submitted was supposed to be a kid walking in on his parents having sex.
Right.
That might have worked as a Scorpions album cover, but I don't think that would.
Absolutely would have.
Yeah, now that's a good Scorpions cover, but no Pink Floyd. Yeah,
Scorpions.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is a missed opportunity. That
really is.
Really, I don't know why they didn't immediately turn around and offer that to them.
Because they would
right
have
up there.
absolutely been. That would have.
Wow.
Not a.
Yeah, you're right.
Not a doubt.
Yeah.
And there's still time, Scorpions. You guys could still use this image.
Beyond.
Assuming it was ever shot.
I thought, yeah.
But yeah, my numbers 1 and 2 are... yes, my number 2 is Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Now, George Harrison gave him the prism. There's actually a picture online of the very prism that they used.
Oh, no shit.
Because they had it in the Pink Floyd exhibit that happened. We didn't get it here, but they had it in the UK.
Yeah.
The reason why I have this is I just really... It's the 60s imagery. I love the really saturated 60s color. I love the band photo. I love the way they're dressed. I'm just kind of a sucker for this kind of stuff. It's just like this great... I like the lettering.
Font, yeah.
As simple as it is, I just this is my bag, man. Plain and simple. As a concept, it very much ranks far below shit like Animals and Wish You Were Here, but my eyes light up a bit more when I see that cover. I guess that's just what it's down to. Which is the case for my number 1, A Saucer Full of Secrets. This cover makes no sense as a design. It's a complete mess. It's the very first album cover that was done by Hypnosis. And I prefer the UK version design because... Okay. I have both of them here. Because here's the UK version of it. with the text. You know, I get a glare out there. And that's how it originally ran. But of course, the U.S. had to go in and go, well, we have to do the lettering in a proper spacing because, of course, the kids won't get it. They won't buy the record. They won't be able to read it. We have to hold their fucking hands through it. Yeah. So I like it better with the text the way it's supposed to be. You know, it adds a little something to it. This is just too, like...
Static.
You poor dumb idiots won't get it. Here, let us help you through it, you know? But... Can he do it? Got it. All right. But yeah, they had to normalize the lettering. But yeah, basically what it's down to is that for some reason I've always been just drawn to this classic 60s psychedelic design. And as far as busy psych album cover designs go, I'll take it over like Odyssey and Oracle any day. And that's what it's down to. It's down to the I really just... If I pick it apart, it's actually a terrible album cover. But when I see it, I really like it.
Yeah.
I just, you know, and part of it is kind of informed by how I feel about the album because I really love this record. And it's one of those albums that I feel like the cover perfectly represents what that album sounds like. You know?
Yes, it matches.
Yeah, it perfectly matches. Whereas something like Adam Hart Mother, great album cover, but you don't look at that and know what that album sounds like.
Yeah.
That could be anything. You know, this is like, that's what that record sounds like. But anyway, whatever. Saucerful Secrets at number 1. I'm sure I'm the only one in the world who has this one at number 1 on this list. So.
Nah, I'm sure there
Except
are...
Tommy. Tommy surely does, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right.
No. He has it at number 15. All right. I will see you guys in a minute. And so will these guys, because we're going to go to a commercial.
Learn to fly. Winner Mark Malone gets flying lessons, a trip to California, $5,000, a chance to meet Pink Floyd, and his own private plane. All for sending just one postcard.
Hi, Mark. Well, good news and bad news. Good news is the airplane's terrific. Bad news is we've decided to keep it.
So people don't really win on MTV?
That's not true. You can have the jacket.
Just a joke. People really win on MTV! Not bad for the price of a 14-cent stamp.
All right, Tommy.
All right, Tommy.
What do you have to say about these?
Lay it on us. Lay it on us.
Alrighty, so I didn't go crazy write up explanations for each one of these because I knew what order we were going to be going in. So I figured anything that they share as far as facts about the creation of the covers, you know, they're going to beat me to the punch. So I just have just a plain old list. My number 15. Gosh, you know what? I was meaning to go on a little bit of a tirade about number 15, but I'm gonna have to walk back a little bit because I actually did not realize that the Endless River was actually a painting. I took one look at that album cover and said, this is an example of stupid, modern, digital art, and I hate it, and it sucks, and it's dumb, and it's stupid, and this is bullshit, and it goes at number 15 because fuck this album cover and fuck this style. And that was what I was all prepared to do up until Ms. Crystal Durant went first.
Oops.
And explained that it's apparently an actual painting done by some 18-year-old artist. I did not realize this was actually created by a human being. It looked like computer-generated imagery.
Yeah.
It feels
so
that way.
if that is the case, I still think it sucks, and I hate that artist's style, but...
At least you feel better because it's a real painting made by a real human
Exactly.
boy. Okay.
Exactly.
And somebody young doing real art rather than digital art.
18, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, give us props.
My number 14 is the start of a run of abstract album covers by this band, each of which I hate almost equally as much. Wow. And that would be The Final Cut, which is probably the shittiest looking of their abstract album covers.
Yeah.
Beaten out only because I was convinced that Endless River was made by a robot. So, yeah, I did not realize that Roger was responsible for the cover for Final Cut. It is actually also, coincidentally, a horrible album.
Surprise!
Everything about that record sucks, and he's to blame for all of it.
Yes, but it is a bad album cover. It looks, if you look at it from a distance, it looks just like a pile of randomly laid textile swatches. And it is just terrible. It is absolutely terrible. My number 13, soundtrack from the film More. An absolutely awful looking album cover. My number 12. Paul, I'm so very, very sorry. My number 12 is A Saucer Full of Secrets. If you would be so kind as to pass me your preferred version there.
I honestly expected it to be in the bottom two.
No. Now, we've talked about this before. I work in graphic design field. Predominantly, I do production art, mechanicals for large-scale signage on buildings in and around New York City. I also do floor plan work. So all of that involves me doing layout of text. If I were to ever do a text layout and show this to a client, that would be the last time I ever worked for that client. There is a reason why American audiences would probably assume that they wouldn't like this, or the record company balked at this, because this is just objectively terrible fucking design. And I get a little bit tired of this contrarianism attitude of, why does it have to be readable and make sense and look good? No, we don't have to conform to your standards. It could just look like shit. It's art. No, it's just shit. It's just shit. Here you go. Thank you. I'm all done with that.
That was the 60s, though, before that shit came in. It wasn't like, that's not like in the 80s is when that kind of attitude came in.
God damn. Ouch.
Sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man.
Oh. It's hot in here.
Motherfucker, that's revenge is what that is. How's that feel? That's revenge fucking with you.
Damn.
All right, next we have another obnoxious, abstract pile of shit, Obscured by Clouds from 1972, comes in at number 11. That's followed by my number 10 from 1971, an album I actually love, and this just is further evidence that when we do a ranking of the album covers video, it is totally a different thing from ranking the albums, because I love metal. It is a fucking killer album, and I've said before, this is where I get on board Pink Floyd right here.
Oh, okay. You don't like any of the albums prior to that, really?
I don't really mess with them. Yeah, they're really not for me. It's a little bit too out there. I'm not so much into Homina Homina. Yeah, but number 10, I have metal because I just think the album cover itself is absolutely terrible. I've always hated it. It actually kept me away from the album, and this is the thing. Album cover art does matter, because when I was younger, it kept me from ever messing with this record, and come to find out I love this album. It's a superficial, ignorant way of approaching albums, but it happened when I was younger. My number 9, The Division Bell. At this point, I feel like now we're starting to get actual real album covers. I just don't think this is a particularly great one.
It's okay.
I like it.
My number 8, Momentary Lapse of Reason. Yeah. For all the shit I was giving you, it's only my number 8. I think it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. My number 7. Not an album cover I love, but I'm going to give a nod at number 7 to 1967's Piper at the Gates of Dawn, because it is rather iconic and it is kind of cool. I don't like it. If it was my band and that was submitted, I would say try again.
Well, you weren't in 1967 on acid, obviously.
Yeah.
I wasn't in 1967.
Period.
So, my number 6, Wish You Were Here. It's cool.
I'm honestly surprised that your ranking of that is about as low as mine was.
Yeah, actually, I noticed as you were doing your list, we do have certain ones ranked either identically or almost identically in the list.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. Not all of them. Most of our list is kind of at odds, but there are a few key moments, things that we kind of like are simpatico. Yeah. My number 5, Atom Heart Mother from 1970. My number 4 from 1979, The Wall, which is actually my favorite Pink Floyd album, but as far as covers go, it is only number 4. But I still think it's kick-ass. So, at this point, on, I think these covers are just really awesome.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So only like the top. What are we at? Top 4?
The top
now?
like 4 or 5, I think, are just really kick ass. Like, actually up to 6. I think I'd say the top 1 through 6, starting with "Wish You Were Here" at number 6, I think is really cool. "Atom Heart Mother," crazy, but it's really cool. My number 4 being "The Wall," awesome. I think it's awesome. My number 3, "Ink a Dink a Bottle of Ink." I love it. Uma Guma.
Ink a Dink a Bottle of Ink.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 1969's "Itchy Gitchy Ya Ya Ya." I love this album cover. I've always loved this album cover. There's just something enchanting about it.
Well, there's a lot to get lost in that.
It really is. I mean, that's what they were clearly trying to do. But my number 2, 1977's "Animals." Love it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. And I am going to be the most basic bitch in the room. The most basic bitch in the room. My number 1, "Dark Side of the Moon."
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, it's incredible.
You're
it's
not
iconic
wrong.
for a reason. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to put that. I mean, I was kind of surprised that I put it as low as I did. Yeah, it's kind of almost the epitome of simplicity that gets the job fucking done.
Oh God, yes.
You know?
Yeah, simplicity that can have you thinking for years.
Yeah.
Yep. So there we go. That's my
right.
Pink Floyd album covers list.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And climbing the wall since the release of the last Pink Floyd album. Get ready for a momentary lapse of reason. That's the name of the British supergroup's first release in 4 years, and you won't have to go to the dark side of the moon to get it. It's in record stores today. Pink Floyd's last big hit was 1982's The Wall, which went platinum and even became a feature film. Lapse isn't a movie yet, but the group starts a tour for the album tomorrow in Ottawa, Canada. They'll be at the Sports Arena this November.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're getting out now, right?
I think we are.
Yeah, man.
I believe that's
Yeah.
right. Okay,
No
all right.
hating.
Well, yeah, thanks everybody. That's our Pink Floyd album cover ranking with all of our wild and crazy lists that you all disagree with. Let us know down in the comments.
Yes.
And, all right, well, thank you everybody who has subscribed, but if you haven't, maybe consider subscribing. If you do, click the little bell notifications.
And, sorry, watch that documentary on hypnosis. It's
Yes.
called...
Yes.
It's called Squaring the Circle. I think that's what the name of it is. Look it up.
is
Yeah.
excellent.
So
Yes,
amazing.
it's all about 80s Stevie Wonder. Right? No?
No, nice try, Paul.
That's in triangular trapezoid. Now,
Okay, all right.
let's get the hell out of here before you mangle some more rock history.
my
right
God.
after.
All right,
Next
all
thing
right,
you know,
all
he's
right.
gonna
I
say
actually
Woman
haven't
in
seen that
Red.
doc myself.
Exactly.
Oh, you haven't seen it
I
yet?
haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
You
dude,
really need
you gotta
to.
I
get
have
on
a
it.
long list of docs that I haven't
It's
watched
really
yet.
great.
All right. Well, anyway, come back next week, everybody, because we are going to be discussing our favorite albums of 2019. Yes, it's been fun hanging out with Pink Floyd this week. Well, next week we're hanging out with 2019.
Next
so-
week you get a whammy. This week was no whammy.
No whammies, no whammies.
No whammy.
Oh.
2019.
All right. Yes. Next week, a lump of coal. Here you go. All right. See you guys then.
Bye.
All right, shall I?
Is there a spot in it for the wax, for the mustache wax?
Exactly. Yes, it has a mustache wax holder.
Mustache wax holder.
Yes. Tired of fucking tired of bullshit. Give me a single fucking channel, 200 watts. Shit catches on fire when you turn it up too loud. That's what I want. I want a real fucking amp.
This episode is brought to you by Loud Amps.
This episode has been brought to you by Tommy's tinnitus. That ringing in his ears that's been with him for decades.
Tommy's
Like a good old friend.
It's there all the time. It's been there for a number of years.
It's never going away. And then cut to the solo.
And then a close-up of your ear with no earplug in it.
And I'm just like this. The tone.
Me going what?
Exactly.
What? We go what?
Tommy!
What?
Okay, shall we? Shall we? What is it?
All right.
Oh, Christ.
3, 2, 1.
Well,